and shared with others. Thousands of special stream.
Now we can see a new world coming into view. A world in which there is a very real prospect of a new world order.
That determine that. It is you.
Secretary in the German Federal Ministry of Defense. Also, the head of German Research and Technology. The cabinet of Helmut Schmidt also served for 25 years as an SPD member in the German parliament. He also oversaw the intelligence agencies. Andres von Bülow, almost right after 9/11, came out and said that he believed it was evidence of inside job. Now he believes it is total inside job. We got about 20 minutes left with him. We'll take a few phone calls for him at 512-646-5400, 512-646-5400. Mr. von Bülow, continue. You were getting into the economy, what's happening to the dollar, what's happening worldwide, where you think that's going, also what's happening in Tibet. You've got quite an international knowledge, examples of using Kurds against the central government in Turkey. Who's behind that? You've got the floor, sir. Please break it down.
Well, the economy is a huge field at the moment, but we see that this housing bubble is deflated, and I think if you take all together, there are trillions of dollars involved, and the banks in Europe and the banks in United States, they are telling always this quarter we have made 5 or 8 or 12 billion of dollars losses, but it's always only for a quarter. The next quarter might deflate the basis of their counting, and then again they have to write it down. So I think there is a kind of criminality behind the behavior of the banks giving mortgages to people which couldn't pay the money back, and telling them that the money they get for their houses will raise the worth of the building will strictly go up, and therefore they have not to bother about paying back. And now this case is going the other way around, and making out of these mortgages kind of certified tickets which were sold around the globe. I think it's so unbelievable what has happened in the banking world. I couldn't believe this before, but I was skeptical some already 3 or 4 years ago. Now, where does lead this us? I don't know. I have no idea. I can't look through But I think it's the biggest danger we all have in common. The common man has this kind of danger. The people which are running the banks are normally getting their money before they get bankrupt. So, but and look, now this Tibet affair, I think again there is something behind. Tibet is an old playing ground for Secret Service, especially the CIA. They were there in the 50s. They were there in the 80s. Now I think all this unrest is probably aroused by Western influences. So in order to get the Chinese in trouble, but if you bring the Chinese in trouble as Americans, they probably fight back in giving away their huge dollar volumes which they have. Which normally the American government needs on a daily basis to run the wars they are running in Iraq and in Afghanistan and so on, because everything is on debt at the moment. But I think this Tibet thing is as it was in Ukraine. It was an organized background in order to break up China, to break up the former Soviet Union or the new Russia. And this kind of behavior leads to a situation where you are enforcing the Chinese to clamp down on the population more than they would do if it would be only a local situation. And to use minorities in order to bring a breakup, to weaken a central government is an old technology coming to us over the 10 of thousands of years, but it's now used by the American government.
How do you see that playing out? How do you see that unfolding?
I don't know whether the people, I don't know the rationale in the American the government. You can be sure that they want to divide Russia, to bring, especially where the oil is or where the pipelines are going through. There you find independent movements or movements of independence, fighting going on. Chechnya,
and so they will finance balkanization and then export the revolution.
Balkanization everywhere in the Balkan and in the former Russian the former Soviet Union, and this is enforcing the Russian government again to be much stricter against the local population, to use military and so on and so on. So the situation of the population is getting worse and worse, like in Iraq, and there is no hope. But
let me bring us next to Iraq. I mean, we've got millions of dead Iraqis in the 17 years of siege and occupation and genocide that's being carried out. The original Pentagon plan was to break the country in 3 parts. They're doing that now. They're talking about going into Iran. A lot of experts on this show warned, like Dr. Roberts and others, former head of the Treasury Department here, that they would probably stage something like the Gulf of Tonkin. They tried to do that, but it got exposed. Now the Internet and information moving faster keeps short-circuiting them, and it seems as if they're playing by a 30, 40, 50-year-old game plan, and that their template isn't working or isn't working as well in the modern age. Can you talk about where you think Iraq's going to go, and then we're going to take some calls.
I think the administration would like to stay in Iraq. Probably they will finally decide to make a 3-part Iraq, one belonging more or less to the Kurds. But then there comes a big struggle with Turkey, and then you have the oil fields. And you have Baghdad, and this is the plan. And probably some in the future there will a president will announce, but the basis will be filled with American military, with Air Force, and with this instrument you can always play again against the local population or government, and you are able to perhaps to occupy the oil if it's necessary. And everybody will be anxious about this military pressure, and therefore, finally, you probably, an administration will get along with this. And they will probably try the same with Iran, but Iran is even bigger and have more population, and I think they will fight back.
We got 65 million versus 20 million, and the Persians are not Arabs. They have more of a military history. And they bent over backwards to the UN. They did everything. It's not weapons. Our government helped give Pakistan weapons, nukes, but that's okay. It's so hypocritical. It's so transparent. The people running our government are so clearly the bad guys here that I just don't see how they get away with it.
But the main problem is that you don't have a free press at the moment. If you would have a free press, they would criticize all this. But you are not, the normal American is not exposed to all this, which he should know in order to judge the government or the party in power.
No, they're just spoiled and happy and well taken care of and have no idea that total scientific tyranny is growing up around them. We're going to go to calls and then let you go here in just about 10 minutes, sir, and I don't want to abuse your hospitality and how much time you've given us, but take Mr. Bobbitt, who is a Bilderberg Group CFR member. He's at UT. He writes a book, and the local paper does a report on it and says, just get rid of the Constitution, get rid of the country altogether. This is what is going to give us prosperity. And then they show the Constitution being torn in half and burned at the edges. This is a TV program in the fourth hour, not just a radio show. I'm showing people right now the Austin American Statesman, where they said that everything must go, including the Constitution, to keep us safe from terrorism. I mean, it's not just that our press lies. They come right out and say getting rid of the country is good.
Getting rid of the country, what Iraq or... I didn't understand that.
Well, I mean, they say getting rid of the Bill of Rights, getting rid of the Constitution, what makes this country, different and good. They just openly say America and freedom is bad.
Yeah. It might. People like that happen to be there. Sure. Yeah.
I mean, this is who's running things, and I'm going to cover that after you leave us. Yep. What do you think is happening in Turkey right now? You mentioned something about that.
No. I think at the moment there is a big tension in Turkey because the Kurds are trying to keep the oil fields for them, and this gives them the power to build a huger Kurd area and invade perhaps into or make things very difficult for Turkey in the Kurdish areas, and therefore Turkey must be very careful how to handle with this situation of transferring Iraq in a three-part government.
Well, I agree with you. It's all very volatile.
My English is getting worse at the moment.
Are you kidding? It's excellent, sir. I can't speak a word speak hardly a word of Deutsch. So we're very, very thankful. You're just fabulous. We're going to take a few phone calls and then let you get some rest, sir. But we've been very thankful to have you on. Let's go ahead and take a call from Dave in California. You're on with the former Minister of Defense in Germany, Andres von Bülow.
Thank you, Alex. It's nice to talk to you again, man. You just keep raising the bar, and your guests are so great. Way to go.
Well, thank you.
Minister von Bülow, I think that we've probably reached the point in the United States, at least the people that are paying attention to the 9/11 issue, that we know that this was an inside job. And for myself, I want indictments. I don't really need a new investigation. The investigation's been done. But if, as a minister, former minister, or a high-level person in Germany, you know that something as big as 9/11 pretty much has to be okayed right to the top. Would that be a fair statement? And if so, then we need to be looking at people like Dick Cheney.
Exactly. In the power structure, who would have to sign off on the operation?
Well, it must be the highest level. Must be the highest level. I think normally it is if you have a type of murder and this kind of thing, then the number one always says, "I don't like this guy," and this is already enough. And then the second guy takes care of this and gives the order. So the deniability of the highest level is a very careful and strictly ordered thing. And beyond this, you have people who are doing the dirty work.
Thank you, sir. Alex, if you could possibly hold me over, I got two important news items for you after Mr. von Bülow leaves.
Well, we'll see about that.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, I'll put you on hold, but I want to be fair to everybody else.
Sure thing.
Let's talk to Dustin in Ohio. Dustin, you're on the air.
Hello, Alex. How are you today?
Good.
I just signed up, actually, to InfoWars and stuff. I just became a member. And I do want to say that for the price that you're charging, it's the best deal on the Internet.
Well, I mean, the radio show's free, but if people want the documents and video clips and the rest of it, they can sign up for prisonplanet.tv. Yes, sir.
Yes, I enjoy it very much. Appreciate it. Number one, I wanted to talk to someone after we're done here to see what how I can help. I already get on the websites and stuff, and I spread the truth about things, but I want to help. Actually,
well, I mean, just telling people how they can help takes time. I'm a very small organization. It's basically general. I mean, keep waking up others, keep getting involved. Well, this is an information war against tyranny. Andres von Bülow, what would you do if you were Dustin in Ohio? How would you advise him to fight tyranny with your wisdom?
I think, first of all, the Internet is a wonderful body to get together, to give information away from the mainstream information business, and organize oneself. But it's difficult to say. In Germany, for example, in 1919. The trade unions were the guys who run the counter-revolution against the putsch from the right-wing organizations. Now, I think the trade unions in the United States are not so strong as they should be, and therefore, well, I don't know whether the churches you can.
Well, they've been very careful. I mean, they've bought off, infiltrated. The whole system is rotten and corrupt. That's the problem. It's like a weak immune system.
Yeah. So I think get together, get the information, and how to fight it. It's very difficult to say.
Basically, just fight. None of us have all the answers. Get involved. That's where the solution's going to come from. Engage the enemy in the info war.
And write letters and talk to your neighbors and talk to your relatives, and so that the networks are interchanging day and night. And spread the word about. Spread the word about this radio show. I've also seen you in a documentary about 9/11 that's in Deutsch. These internet films are also very successful, aren't they? Oh yeah, sure, yeah. In Germany, there's a very critical mood. Perhaps I helped a little bit with this. And again, against all these huge magazines like Spiegel and all the press, we are fighting against these, but we get a big resonance.
Well, that's the big news here, is the establishment, whether it's in Germany or England or France or the U.S., is really losing credibility, and people are starting to see through the illusion. A few final calls. Yeah. We're going to let you go in just a moment, sir. We're going to talk to Joe in California, Mike in Wyoming, and that's going to have to be it for our guest. I will take all the rest of your calls, though, folks. Joe in California, you're on the air with Andres von Bülow.
Hi, Alex. Hi, Mr. von Bülow. I had a question with regards, you live out in Europe, obviously, and you see what the European Union has done to countries that are members of it. We have Richard Haas of the CFR, president of the CFR, Council of Foreign Relations, stating in publications, in writing, that states should surrender their sovereignty because it must give way to world government. What is your opinion of what the European Union has done to tear sovereignty from each individual country, and what do you think will happen because you're trying to push the North American Union here?
I don't like the idea too much because I think the bigger the organization, the more corrupt they can be. And you get so much very differentiated influence in this that you can't handle it any longer. So pressure groups are taking over to push this huge thing around. Look at the UN. I would like to follow the UN, but the UN is not stronger than the states out which it is built. So. Don't believe in superstructures, I think. Yeah,
the bigger it is, the more corrupt, the more bureaucracy. Thank you, caller. We got to move quickly because I want to let the minister go here as soon as possible, though I really enjoy having him with us. I've got a final question for you, and then we'll take one more call, Mr. Von Bulow. Do you think it frustrates them and shocks them that we have been this motivated, this organized, this focused, that 84% of Americans in a New York Times poll believe they've been lied to about 9/11?
80%?
Yes, 84%.
Oh, sure, that's wonderful.
And
it's already an uphill fight for them, and this is what the tactical situation must be. And from this on, finally, you can influence the events of going on of politics.
Do you think the fact that we have exposed government-sponsored or state-sponsored or elite-sponsored terror, blackmail terror, false flag terror, whatever you want to call it, do you think that is breaking the mechanism or damaging it as a useful mechanism by the elite?
No, I don't believe that. If they think that a war has to be brought about and they don't want to be the aggressors, but in reality they are. They again try to use a false flag operation.
So you think it's still a viable tool?
You have to look. You have to show to the public how the technique is working. It's always the same technique. You don't find new instruments. It's from Machiavelli and from Sunset and from Chinese war historians. It's always the same thing.
And the key is, within 25 minutes, they were on TV saying it was bin Laden and saying our whole world has changed. We have to give our rights up. We have to preemptively attack all these nations. The way they were all scripted, it was so obvious.
Yeah, I don't know why they did it, because they are think tanks, and think tanks are writing everything down. Normally they would avoid this kind. Normally you don't. The historians are going over the documents, and the documents are not showing the real thinking of people.
Well, I think it shows an incredible disdain.
Here you have an example.
Exactly. I think it shows the elite's incredible disdain for the general public, how unplugged the public is. But I think they went too far, and the public's plugging back in. Final call for you, sir. Steve in Chicago. You're on the air with Andres von Bulow.
Yes, auf mein bestes Schuldeutsch. Herr Verteidigungsminister, finden Sie das Verhalten der 9/11-Entführer als verdächtig, wie ein militärischer Zug? I ask him, did he find that the action on 9/11 hijackers coordinated like a military squad?
Sure, they are. I think these youngsters...
Patsies, decoys. Patsies or decoys?
Were probably not aboard of these planes.
Sure. In fact, give us your take on that, Von Bulow. Go ahead. Tell us what you think. Go ahead.
It's now difficult because I don't believe in these 19 youngsters. This is an extremely exact, organized event. With where you had to override technically the whole infrastructure of the American military, and I think this infrastructure was working, but it was cut out, or it was
turned off,
overridden by another structure, probably of remote control things and so on and so on. But if the government is not willing to show how it has happened. We laymen we can always only show the contradictory elements in this official theory and tell the public it is totally impossible that it happened like that. And if a government like the Bush administration is unwilling to show what really happened on 9/11, then this must be an inside job.
So the official story we know is a fraud, a lie, a fairy tale, a hoax, but because they ran the operation, we don't know specifically what they did. We just know their official story is a lie.
Yeah, that's right, and then you can speculate, but if you don't have the FBI in the background, and if you could look in the files of the CIA, how these people came over and whether they were on the planes and so on, and where the explosives came from, and at what time they were put on World Trade 7 and World Trade 1 and 2, and so on, and why the electricity went out for the weekends, and so on and so on. You have to look for a huge amount of things in order to get the whole picture.
Why was Marvin Bush running security? Exactly. In closing, and we do appreciate all your time. Very honored to have you. Next time we have you up, we won't keep you as long. Looking at this in hindsight, are these not, though, amazing, bold, reckless individuals? I mean, we've got to hand it to them. They are not shrinking violets. These are very bold individuals to carry out a hoax this big.
They are bold but normally you can find always in false flag operation things which went wrong, and then you can observe with a lot of fun that they are trying to keep away these the leftovers of these false flag operations.
Well, that's why I say it's so bold. It was
bold, but it is not. It wasn't
complex.
Good enough.
It was complex. And then they always, at Oklahoma City, Waco, 9/11, First World Trade Center, they always hide the debris. They always cover up the crime scene. They never allow investigations. I mean, it's just every facet, the motive, the involvement, the means, the cover-up. It's just incredible. Well, Andres von Bülow, the book is The CIA and 9/11, available in how many languages in Europe?
I don't know. It's Swedish, Hungarian, I don't know. It's Arabic, Spanish. I don't know. I have no oversight any longer.
Well, we appreciate your courage. Have you gotten any heat in Germany and Deutschland for the things you say? Have you gotten any repercussions?
No, not at all. Not at all, but, somehow I'm silent, because they say, well, this is an idiot. He has crazy ideas. He is a conspiracy theorist, which is the normal weapon in the hand of the organs of a government in order to keep away people very on the way the government is handling this very difficult affair.
Standard operating procedure. Andres von Bülow, thank you for all the time. God bless you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. All right, he gave us, you bet, goodbye. He gave us an hour and 28 minutes. We're very, very thankful for that. I'm going to take a break. We're going to roll with the Paris song and some video for the viewers out there for about 3 or 4 minutes. I'm going to take a break and get focused because I'm going to be covering this. It may take 15, 20 minutes, but I'll cover it. Then in the final time we have, we'll talk to Dave, John, Mike, and others. So final segment, a 30-minute segment coming up, and then we will rejoin the retransmission at Infowars.com 1 hour into retransmission until I'm back live tomorrow at 11 a.m. All right, we'll be back live after this quick break. This is the Alex Jones Radio Network until next Monday when I am on the network itself, and all the birds for our affiliates out there that want the show. Your call straight ahead.
The
But let's say tomorrow the law stated that we had to use torture.
Don't be absurd.
Why, it used to be the law to be the law again. It's only a matter of principle. Then you would use torture if the law said so.
You're using an extreme example.
All right, then. What's your limit? How much injustice would you stand for to satisfy the people we work for?
Good evening. I would like to report on the state of our war against the American people. We're mounting a sustained campaign to crack down on every American and every person of every faith and every nation, and to bring them to justice. All missions are being executed according to plan, without warning or provocation. Americans are being swept up in an international dragnet. Thousands of FBI agents are on the trail of other citizens here and abroad. It has everything to do with hate and evil and murder and prejudice. America's strong.
Federal agents, we are armed!
What would you do if you knew all the things we know? Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall and strong? Or would you turn and walk away? What would you do if you...
And I stood up for you, didn't I?
Perhaps someday I could help you. Someday I could tell you the nature of evil. No, man. Because if I did, then I'd be out of a job. Let's go to work.
All of the things that's wrong. Would you stand tall and strong? Or would you turn and walk?
I see a message from the government. Like every day, I watch it and listen and call them all suckers. They wanted me about Osama or whatever. Picture me buying the scam. I said never. You in tune to a hard truth soldier spitting. I stay committed, gives a to die, I lose commission. It's all a part of fighting devil state mind control. And all about the battle for your body, mind, and soul. And now I'm hoping you don't close your mind so they shape you. Don't forget they made us slaves, gave us AIDS and raped us. Another Bush season mean another war for profit. All in secret so the public never think to stop it. The Illuminati, 666, all connected. Stole the votes, they control the race and take elections. It's the Skull and Bones Freemason Kill Committee. See the dragon get in every city.
What would you do if you...
What would you do? That's the way the courtroom game is played around here, isn't it, Counselor? It's not the way I play. Let me tell you something, pal. Half the time we don't know which side the law is on. That's the way the wheels of justice turn in this town. And they're the only wheels we got. You have to excuse me, I got some police work to do.
Now ask yourself, who's the one with the most to gain? On 9/11, couldn't stand his name. Now even waving flags like they lost their mind. Everybody got opinions, but don't know the time. Cause America's been took, it's plain to see. The oldest trick in the book is making enemy. A phony evil so the government can do its dirt. And take away your freedom, lock and load, beat and search. Ain't nothing changed but more colored people locked in prison. These pigs still beat us, but it seems we forgetting. But I remember 4 September how these devils do it. Giuliani, ask Diallo how he doing. We in the streets, holler jail to the thief, follow. Waving flags, bring these dragons to their knees. Oil, blood, money, make these killers ride cold. Suspicious suicide, people dying, never told. It's all a part of playing God, so you think we need them. While being Ashcroft, take away your rights to freedom. Bear witness to the sickness of these dictators. Hope you understand the time, brother, cause it's major.
What would you do if you...
Haven't you ever had any doubts about enforcing unjust laws?
It's not for us to judge the law,
But to enforce it, yes, I knew you would say that. You never experienced that, right? You never felt that you were an instrument, that you were sort of an executor looking after the interests of whomever happens to be in power?
So now you asking why my records always come the same. Keep it real, ain't no fillers blinging. Mine eyes seen the glory of the coming of the beast. So every story, every word I'm saying, peace. See, you could witness the Illuminati body count. Don't be surprised, these is devils that I'm talking about. You think a couple thousand lies mean the killers? Nigga, I swear to God, we the ones. Ain't no villains, or any other word they think to demonize a country. Ain't no terror threat unless approval rating slumping. So I'ma say it for the record, we the ones that planned it. Ain't no other country took a part or had their hand in. Just a way to keep you scary so you think you need them. Praising Bush while that killer take away your freedom. How many of us got discovered but ignore the symptoms? Talking loud but ain't nobody saying. And with the 4th Amendment gone, eyes are on the first. That's why I'm spitting cyanide each and every verse. I see the Carlisle Group and Harris bank accounts. I see them plead the 5th each and every session. fashion now. And while white stag burns, see the public buy it. I see the profile and see the media's compliance. War's good for business, see the vicious make a savior. Hope you understand the time, brother, cause it's major.
What would you do if you knew all the things we knew? Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall?
Let's roll a little bit of this song. Then I'm going to get into the treason that's in our face locally here in Austin, Texas, and nationwide. And then your phone calls. Who knows how long this show's going to continue to roll. Keep it locked in. Break the chains. You can't stop them. You can kill us individually, but you're not going to stop this idea. A bunch of freak scientists got together, told the elites we can keep you in power forever. You just got to do some hardcore stuff. Oh, yeah. Well, some of us don't want to be slaves. Let's play the rest of it. Look at these bastards. They put this in the Statesman. Everything must go. Get rid of the Constitution. And this article says it's good. Treason. Yeah, we're the downtrodden. God bless them. They're gonna break the chains. You can't stop them. We're gonna break the chains. You can't stop them! I love this music video. Wrecking balls into the Berlin Wall. Boom, baby. New World Order's going to fall. It's destined to. And a lot of you sickos out there are destined to swing from the end of a rope. All right. Let me get into this treason. On your screen, you see a photocopy of the Austin American Statesman. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read this news article almost in its entirety. It's a long one. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read most of it here on air. Very manipulative cover. Everything in this is nothing but pure propaganda. And after we cover this, we'll take calls from Dave and John and others. The number to join us is 512-646-5400, 512-646-5400. And I want to know specifically what you think about this article. Now, we went to a meeting he put on 3 years ago at UT. He's a fellow there, where they called for world government. It was called the New World Order, and they had former CIA Director Casey there calling for putting people in concentration camps and put the video on the web. I mean, these are some bold bastards. University of Texas senior fellow Philip Bobbitt, who's been involved with the NSA, the rest of it, makes a case for a new kind of world order. And they pride themselves on how cold-blooded they are and how they're getting all the slaves out of the way. Well, I'm not your slave. And I'm not here to be run over by you and your crooked, sicko friends, Bobbitt. Bobbitt is an arch criminal. Now, everything must go. The average idiot is reading The Statesman, thinking they're part of the establishment, and they open it up in the foreign policy section. It says everything must go, and you see We the People, Declaration of Independence, and it says how to fight terrorism. And it's being burned away. The Constitution is in the way of how to fight terrorism. But you can see that somebody's ripped part of it away, and so now you can see how to be safe from terrorism, that you've got a better chance of being struck by lightning or being killed by a milk cow, literally. Yeah, there's dozens of deaths a year from milk cows kicking people, running over them in stalls. I'm serious when I say that. Or mop buckets or swimming pools or automobiles. I mean, terrorism is way down the list of things you die of. And that's averaging in the 3,000 from the staged event of 9/11. So, let me now go ahead and read to you from this. You flip it over, and you read this part of The Statesman. It says, what needs to be done, what works. Amend the UN Charter to allow the preemptive use of force without a Security Council authorization. Preemptive military, attack whoever you want for no reason. Legalize that for the globalist. Everybody knows bad guys attack first. Doesn't matter now what Hitler did to Poland, what Hitler did to France, it's good. What the Soviets did to Czechoslovakia, it's good. Okay? Continuing here with this report. Change the Geneva Conventions to forbid the indefinite confinement of terrorist prisoners without trial. Now, the average weak-minded fluoride drinker, and I'm not being mean, I mean, you people need to realize they're under chemical attack and realize why they're so foggy and stupid, why things don't make sense. Get off of it, and your brain can regenerate if you're not too old. We're very resilient creatures. Change the Geneva Conventions to forbid the indefinite confinement of terrorist prisoners without trial. This is a very slickly written article by a clear operative. There's no doubt of that, a fellow traveler with all of this. I mean, on the surface of it, they're saying get rid of the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and they get to that later. But the larger issue here is that when you read what Bobbitt is proposing in the book, Terror and Consent, he says allow the indefinite holding of people without charges, without habeas corpus, which is in the John Warner Defense Authorization Act. Excuse me, that's the enabling money for martial law that is in the Enemy Combatant Act for U.S. citizens, and that is also in PDD 51. So see, he's really saying allow people to be held without charges, but they spin it and say, but not indefinite. Change the Geneva Conventions to forbid the indefinite containment of terrorist prisoners without trial. See, because they're not even allowed to do that. You know, Bush has said he can, but the courts are saying it's in trouble. So, see, they spin that like it's giving someone a right. Oh, let's say you can't hold people indefinitely when Bobbitt's only calling for 20 years without a trial. See how they work? Very, very slick. For the average, know-it-all, living in their $1 million house who thinks they're elitist, who opens up the paper and, feels like they're part of the power structure when they're nothing. They're lower blue collar. If you got $1 billion, you're middle class. If you own a mint, you're globalist. Got to own the printing presses that print the money. I'm not kidding. Next, he says, allow a more invasive process of information gathering within and across national borders. And he calls for no Fourth Amendment, spying on everyone, tattletale squads everywhere. And notice they first announced, we're just listening to Al-Qaeda. And then, we're listening to foreigners. Well, now we're listening to certain domestic calls. Well, now we're listening to everything. See, now they've just admitted it all. They're introducing your slavery to you. With the use of non-lethal chemical weapons can be used to prevent terror, redefine such methods as counterforce methods. And that's poisoning the water, brain damaging you, counterforce, brain damaging methods, sedation methods, gassing whole cities. People are rioting. The Sunshine Project discovered 6 years ago, every major city, including Austin, has helicopters in military hangars with opiate knockout gases. They admit large areas of cities will burn, thousands will die, but they're ready to gas you non-lethal. But you're driving down the road, you're going to crash, there's going to be fires, you're going to fall in fire ants, you're going to get electrocuted. It'll cause tens of thousands of deaths per major city. conservatively. But they will. They are prepared, and they have helicopters waiting to gas you and your family right now. And, of course, we know there's also programs with actual nerve gas to kill you and your family. But what they've admitted to is the other gas. Very nice government. Very nice people on their big power trip. They get to do it all. They get to run it all. They get to do whatever they want. All right, this piece of filth then goes on. UT senior fellow Philip Bobbitt argues that we'll have to abandon our military and constitutional traditions if we want to survive this perilous century. So, see, if you want to survive the perilous century, you better give us full control over you. You better let us run every facet of your life, or that man with that turban is going to kill you. You understand? And then he goes on to say, we've got to have world government, we've got to give up all our rights, we've got to let corporations run and own everything, or we're all dead. The men in the cave that the government created and hold up to scare you. I need a little goblin or a little toy monster I can hold up and go, oh, Bin Laden, oh, he's going to get you. Here, I'll just draw a picture of a monster. Here, let me just do this. I mean, this is what they do. Here. Let me just draw a monster. And this is Bin Laden, and I'm the globalist, I'm the government. Let me see, it's 1979, I'm going to create this to fight the Soviets, but then I'm going to counter-use it to scare my population in to submission. And they will submit to it quite nicely. There we go. Oh, yes. This barbarian devil will get you if you don't submit, okay? Give up all your rights, give up everything you've got, and let us get rid of all your Bill of Rights and Constitution. He gets into it, or this is going to get you, lady. Give up your whole way of life. You know, there's no danger in letting the power elite run everything. They won't do anything bad. No, it's men in caves. Oh, you don't like CPS taking your kids. You don't like taxes going up. You don't like your kids being asked about what's in your medicine cabinet. You don't like being arrested without a warrant, or the IRS taking your house without a warrant, or a jury or due process. Oh, you don't like having to incriminate yourself when you fill out the tax forms violating your Fifth Amendment. Well, okay, that's basically it, okay? I mean, that's it. It's real. They treat you like children. You know, it's real simple. All right, let me just get into this bastard. Oh, man, this guy makes me sick. I'm so sick of these scumbags in their three-piece suits and their big mansions and helicopters, all the evil crap and the drugs they ship into the country and the black ops they run, and how they all do it for the greater order. Because if they didn't, there'd be other crime syndicates that would, and they have a great mission, and they understand what they're doing with eugenics, and I mean, it's disgusting. UT senior fellow Philip Bobbitt argues that we'll have to, in fact, he heads up the UT LBJ school, where they teach all of our ambassadors and the people that are going to make the State Department up. I mean, just teaching them there's no Bill of Rights or Constitution. Teaching them it's bad. I mean, that's what's going on. Arming and the forces to dominate and rule with an iron rod over us. God, man, I'm so sick of this trash. I got to calm down and cover this. I'll never get to your calls. UT senior fellow Philip Bobbitt argues that we will have to abandon our military and constitutional traditions. Our constitutional traditions? If we want to survive this perilous century. That's like getting in the car with Ted Bundy. He's in a suit. He's driving a little Volkswagen. He's cute. Philip Bobbitt wears a suit. He says, just let me put these handcuffs on you, baby, and everything's going to be all right. Well, you put those handcuffs on, girl. The one or two girls that didn't put the handcuffs on and kicked him and rammed open the door, they may have flown out and flipped in the concrete a few times, but they weren't back at his shack an hour later with him biting big old bloody chunks out of them. And that's Bobbitt. Just give me all the power. But says it real nice in a nice friendly outfit. Hi, I'm Philip Bobbitt. They all talk like this when they're at events. Hi, everyone. Oh, it's so good. We're doing this for America. We gotta do it for the safety. Oh, it's so nice. We just want to help you. But you confront them in private or when they're going down a hall, they'll literally, "Oh, you got a problem, boy? Get out of my way." Just like the Karl Rove of 5 administrations. I say 4 in the film, martial law, but he really was in 5. David Gergen, all of a sudden, did like that. Let me show you who they really are. You know who I am, boy? You know the power we've got. You know how many people we frickin' killed. Don't you mess with us. That's who they really are. But it's a nice little public meeting. Oh, we're friendly to you. We're nice to you. I'm so sick of them. God, can't you see who they are? I'm risking my life to fight these bastards. They're going to literally clean your clock and carry out eugenics on you and your family unless you expose them. They're now putting the Constitution cut and burned on the edge and saying we've got to get rid of it on the front page of a section of a major paper. And we don't know who the enemy is. And now you're going to hear yuppies at the country club and stuff, for those of you that are well-to-do, going, I guess we got to get rid of it. Because all they do is copy what the big guys say and then feel important. But they're not going to be laughing when their stocks and bonds and pension funds are taken. No, they'll go join the evil even more and beg to do anything just to stay in the power loop. But in the end, when we take over against these people, the Constitution and Bill of Rights, it is not going to be like Germany where a few hundred of them get put to death, folks. We're going to put hundreds of thousands of them in prison, due process, full court of law, no matter how much it costs, it's being paid for. Tens of thousands are going to be executed because they are going to kill millions. They're going to slaughter. They've already done it. And then they will be brought to justice. You out there watching, you will be brought to justice, you little bastards, for your crimes. You understand that? I'm not doing all this to be a big shot and shoot my mouth off and act tough. I know where I put myself. I know the scrutiny I'm under. And I hate you bastards even more for it. You are murdering, trash, child molesting filth. DynCorp and Halliburton and all of you are filth, degenerate scum. You are cancer, and you've got to be cut out. I shouldn't get so mad. I just realize how evil they are, and I just get pissed when I've got to go up against them. Okay. I've got to read what this traitor says. It just makes me so sick. This is America. You understand? This piece of paper they're burning. This is it. This is what makes us special. This is what we fought for. This is who we are. And these sons of bitches are telling us that it isn't. They're the enemy. Everything must go. No, you must go. You must go. We always had corrupt elites in this country, but they were better than anybody else, and they still cared about the people to a certain extent. They had a sense of pride and destiny. You're a bunch of Malthusian, sellout trash who hate everybody, including yourself, and you want to crap all over everybody else, and I'm sick of you. We the people, how to fight terrorism. God, let me just read it. It's so evil, ladies and gentlemen. Every line is twisting and written for psych warfare to convince so-called intellectuals. Bastard. During the course of a long, intellectually demanding narrative, oh, it's very long and intellectually demanding. Yeah, truth is apparent. Veritas is apparent. But a bunch of mealy-mouthed, double-think crap out of a limp-wristed, chicken-necked, traitorous piece of filth is intellectually demanding. Meaning it's a bunch of mental gymnastics. Terror and consent pivots on several paradigm-shifting claims. You're not shifting any paradigm. You're bringing us back to ancient tyranny. One of them, which appears in the introduction, stands out for its humanitarian implications. So much doublespeak here. During the era of 20th century industrial nation states, 80% of the dead and wounded in warfare were civilians. So there's this false statement that it's nation states that cause such killing of civilians. No, it's modern warfare. There have been nation states for thousands of years. It's modern warfare that kills civilians. But he claims it's the nation state that killed civilians. Just an intellectually bankrupt 2 + 2 = 10 billion, just absolute crap. These guys ninny around when you go to their meetings going, oh, you're so smart, and you talk to them, they're not even that smart. They're weak. They're holding this species back. They're the trash. Just listen to this crap. It's so insulting to anyone with a real intellect. Okay. The son of a bitch blaming everything on this country. Filth! You pieces of trash can't build anything. You're a bunch of parasites. During the era of the 20th century industrial nation states, 80% of the dead and wounded in warfare were civilians. For Philip Bobbitt, a distinguished lecturer and senior fellow at the University of Texas and law professor at Columbia University, this is more than a gee-whiz factoid. Yeah, this turd teaches all the law students how to sell out their country. It's the basis upon which he advances an ambitious argument for fighting the wars that are bound to plague the 21st century. Oh, they're bound to plague because you hand nukes out to the Pakistans and weapons out to this group and that group and murder the Rwandan Christians for their land, and you're running around handing out weapons and having universities publish mousepox weapons design blueprint, which will kill every human on earth if it ever gets out. You're a son of a bitch is what you are, you freaks. Yeah, you plagued the 21st century. The prospect that this good old industrial nation state is a shrinking violet might rankle patriotic flag wavers. So they use reverse double propaganda there of, oh my God, the prospect that a good old industrial nation state is shrinking violet might rankle patriotic flag wavers. Like they're saying, hey, we're going to be macho and really manly and tough. Don't worry. Don't let it rankle you flag wavers. This is a real way to kick butt. But Bobbitt's statistic thrust. Oh, he's got statistics. Oh, well, give them to us, you little bastards. No, it's all made up. But Bobbitt's statistic thrust home an unsettling question. What does it say about the nation state that it has so often failed to provide? The nation state hasn't failed. Capitalism hasn't failed. You guys are crony capitalists. It's not real capitalism. You come in and set up corporate welfare and you use the nation state as your tool while you go out and spread all the crises, and then every time poses the savior, blaming it on the U.S. when globalism has, quote, failed for the average person. It's succeeded perfectly for you criminals. Just in your public reason for it, it's failed. NAFTA, GATT, it's all failed. It's all destroyed things. But, the nation, you got to get fully rid of it's why you're falling apart, even though our own documents say we want to enslave you. What does it say about the nation state that it has so often failed to provide? The words of a British statesman, Douglas Hurd, the security, prosperity, and decent environment which the citizens demand, might it be time for something new? And they say globalism, which is nothing new. It's imperium, but this time by a corporate ruling elite, like something out of Rollerball. In Bobbitt's view, the current wars against terror provide a shrill wake-up call to confront the question. The best way to protect citizens in modern democracies, he claims, is to fundamentally rethink the nation state as a guarantor of freedoms that terrorists intend to obliterate. The terrorists want to obliterate your freedom and your nation state. That's why the globalists are so busy trying to take your nation state and your freedoms. Because the terrorists are attacking, we have to get rid of the nation state and get rid of your freedoms because the terrorists want them. I mean, that is totally intellectually the opposite of what it says. That is mental detritus. That is, but see, people who think they're intellectuals nowadays, they've been taught crap since they went to college, not real thought. So they sit there and they'll sit there with their coffee for about an hour, like, what? Oh, I get it, and thinking up some way it makes sense to go, oh, I'm still smart. Oh, I'm powerful. I have a chicken neck. I mean, listen to this crap. I could hardly sleep last night when I read this. In Bobbitt's view, the current wars against terror provide a shrill wake-up call to confront the question. You mean where we attack countries that weren't even officially involved against us in the official story? The best way to protect citizens of modern democracies, he claims, is to fundamentally rethink the nation state as a guarantor of freedoms that terrorists intend to obliterate. The few real resistance groups they call terrorist are against globalists and are nationalist. So see, the terrorists don't want to obliterate our nation states. The globalists carry out attacks and blame it on nation states they want to blow to hell. See how that works? God, this guy is such a liar. Might it be time for something new? In Bobbitt's view, the current wars against terror provide a shrill wake-up call to confront the question. The best way to protect citizens in modern democracies, he claims, is to fundamentally rethink the nation-state as a guarantor of freedoms that terrorists intend to obliterate. So see, because the people, 80+% don't want the war and don't want GMO in their food, they're saying, well, just let corporations take full control, and then we'll have NGOs. That's how you'll vote, is that we'll pick from NGOs we fund, and then they'll say they represent you. And he goes on to say that. So, no representation. This son of a bitch has the Bill of Rights on the Declaration of Independence on fire on the front cover, saying get rid of this, and then he sits around. I mean, this is bull. But wait, I won't be invited to the coffee with Mr. Bobbitt if I don't agree with him. And, I mean, you ought to go to these events. I mean, the scum, the slime, the filth. And they're all real stupid and lazy. They work about 2 hours a week, and then they just sit around with their professor jobs, hitting on, well, most of them don't hit on the women. They just hang out with Bobbitt, prancing around. Look, all your crap's going to be swept aside. You're weak. You're trash. Get out of America's way, filth. Hold on. I got to settle down and cover this, so I'll never get to it. And I got to go do about 50 things. Is Mike here yet? For me to do that work. I'm supposed to end this here in a minute because I got work I got to do. Oh, jeez. But I said I'd take calls. Let me just read through it quickly. Maybe tomorrow I'll do part 2 of this when I'm more settled. It just goes on for page after page. In Bobbitt's view, the current wars against terror provide a shrill wake-up call. Bobbitt's previous book, The Shield of Achilles, he was at a lecture called The New World Order, explores the grand themes of warfare and state development, marking his penchant for the magnum opus, a nearly 700-page toilet paper pile, I would add, including, I read it, more than 100 pages of notes. Terror and consent follow suit, taking on a similarly big picture. If we want to defeat state-shattering terror, we have to get rid of the state. If we want to defeat state-shattering terror in the 21st century, Bobbitt writes, we'll need to transform the emerging constitutional order of the 21st century state. Get rid of that evil Bill of Rights. Specifically, we must stop thinking like a nation state and start thinking like the market state that we are inevitably becoming. The nation state, a constitutional order dedicated to protecting and improving the material welfare of its citizens, served the United States well from the mid-19th century to the end of the Cold War. But Bobbitt contends it's vulnerable to a new battery of threats. It's vulnerable, so let's get rid of it. Just like, the internet's in trouble, let's just get rid of it. We have our new one for you when they're killing it. The accessibility of weapons of mass destruction, which our government hands out like hotcakes to Pakistan and everybody else. The globalization of international capital, that's the bankers that run it all, they're the problem. And the universalization of culture, which the globalists run, have eroded the conventional borders that once legitimated national security. So they're the globalists, and their globalism's destroying sovereignty, so we've got to embrace more globalism to save our sovereignty. I mean, are you not insulted by him talking to you like you're a first grader? What's needed is a constitutional order that takes its structural cues from multinational corporations. Oh, yeah. And non-governmental organizations. Yeah, we got to turn into that. Relying less on law. Oh, yeah. And regulation and more on market incentives where they control it all. To expand people's options, that'll take your options, such as market steps, keeps its finger on the pulse of consumer demand, advocates trade liberalization, is prone to the privatization of public works. We're bankrupt, handing over our whole infrastructure to these control freaks. Read the IMF documents that came out in 2002. Their words, not mine. Will outsource many functions in similar rooms of political science departments. The change is referred to as neoliberalism. On the streets, it is known as globalization. Is Mike here yet? Is Mike here? Okay, 10 minutes, okay. All right, we'll go for 10 more minutes because I got to get this done. I got like 20 other things to do. Oh, why do I even read it? Just look at the cover. Just look at the enemy. Look what that bastard, look what they do. You know what this means, folks, when they put the Constitution being shredded on the front of the paper and say it's good? It means we're in a lot of trouble. They built death camps. They're putting frickin' poison in our water. These are some son of a bitches. You get mad at your neighbor if they park in your parking spot. You get mad at the neighbor's dog if it craps in your yard. But you don't get mad when a bunch of mad dog killers are building FEMA camp control grids, brainwashing police, banning protest, having door-to-door gun confiscations. This is life and death. These people are going to, if you're lucky, just turn you into a slave. But most of us are dead. You can't serve them. You can't join them. They aren't going to quit. They aren't going to stop. They aren't going to back off. They aren't going to give in. Their job is dressing up in their little suit clown outfits and making you feel good at lots of academic meetings to keep the intelligentsia down and not aware of what's happening. Tomorrow on the radio show, I'm going to start it with this and just go over the whole thing again and read the second half because I won't have time to cover it all. It just gets worse and worse and worse. And worse and worse and worse. And it's all about these bastards' personal power trips. It's all about how they get to be the boss and how they get to destroy America and set up a new system. And they just make me sick. They make me sick. And then these dumbasses, send me emails going, I'm not patriotic, I'm criticizing the government. The government is run by the private bankers. The government is destroying our country. The government wants world government where no one can oppose them. God. A bunch of psychopath inbred aristocracy poisoning us, doing all this crap to us, laughing about it, writing books about it, putting the Constitution being shredded on front of the paper and saying it's good. I mean, they're just a bunch of bastards, man. But see, they got to sell torture of children. They got to sell destroying the Bill of Rights. It's who they are. They're now down to doing it. They're doing it right now. I'm giving each caller 1 minute. Dave in California, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay, real fast, no rant for that idiot named Bobbitt. Good name for him, though, huh?
Well, they call him idiots. He's not an idiot. He's a predatory son of a bitch that knows what's good for him and the elite.
Right. Okay, well,
he thinks we need to lay down and die so that son of a bitch can have a power trip.
Well, we still got the Second Amendment, brother, and we still got the place to put the cartridges in, too. So the heck with that. You know, just they can say whatever they want, but this, you know, when all these prisons
just know this.
Built, we're going to put them in the damn prison.
Just know this. This son of a bitch right here, University of Texas senior fellow Philip Bobbitt, if there's ever an enemy of the Republic, that's it right there. That is an enemy of the Republic.
He's on my list. Anyway, two things real fast. You had Steve Alton on last week, and he's setting himself up as some big hero of the 9/11 movement. I bought his book and read it. It's a limited hangout. At the beginning, he says it's a work of fiction, but on or about the year 2012, it'll be the whole peak oil thing. It'll be CO2 is killing us.
Yeah, you need to call into other shows where they haven't discovered this. I have, and I appreciate your call.
I'm going to.
Yeah, do it. Call into all of them. I had him on. I'd gotten the book. I'd read like a couple of chapters. Thought, this is good. You know, it's fiction about government-sponsored terror. I'll have a guest on. Then I actually read the whole book, and it's global government, all peak oil, we're all dead, CO2. And then suddenly all these big names started calling me, saying, you got to promote this, you got to push this, you got to get involved with this. So I said, I better read it. So I did read the whole thing. And I didn't want to talk bad about him because I don't want to hurt everybody's feelings. But it's like Jesse Ventura's gone public. It's out there, and everybody's saying, don't talk about that. Don't push that as a way to wake people up or any of this. Let's just talk about the shell game, 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 the shell game. And it's just, oh, my God, it'll hit number one, and then everyone will talk about it. When we have the number one actress and all these people going public and all the, so, yes, I'm aware of it, and I just try not to infight and try not to get involved in all of it. But I'm going to get Alton back on and just school him about all this stuff if he'll come on. And I've tried to, behind the scenes, just say, look, fine, nice book. I don't agree with a lot of it. But what's all this weird hype about it? I mean, it's really getting pushed, folks. Like, I've never seen anything be pushed. And I don't know what the odor is, but I'm trying to examine and get the full bouquet. Let's talk to John in Michigan. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. Oh, great talking to you.
Good talking to you. What's on your mind?
Oh, I'd like to talk about the capabilities of the intelligence community and how we can have more power over them. as long as we come up with plans to overcome them. I mean, they are scum. We do have power over them. We just need to realize it and use the power that we have to defeat them. I mean, you know the capabilities that they have.
Yeah, they're a bunch of pieces of filth, a bunch of know-it-all bookworms who think they know it all, who were taught communism in school. Bunch of trash.
Well, I'm talking about big capabilities like having quantum computers to be able to try to control us. Well, even with...
No, that's what they've got. They got all these maps to try to pick how we operate, and they're a bunch of bastards, and I just hate them.
Oh, brainwave technology to read our minds.
Well, they admit they have that. That's in the Washington Post. I meant to cover that Sunday, Monday, and today. I'll cover it tomorrow, and I appreciate your call. I hear you. Well, what they have is quackery, where they go, oh, the scanner picked up you were planning violence. You have to go to prison. Forget guilty until proven innocent. Now it's guilty before you do anything, and they're just saying that's the new system, and Bobbitt's saying it's wonderful. TJ in Illinois, go ahead.
Hey, Alex.
Hey.
Thanks for having me on the show. Being tax day and all, I got a comment for you. You were speaking of globalism and outsourcing a little earlier.
Yeah.
Last Friday, I walked out of my job at the IRS website help desk. And get this. The company I work for is called Athena. They're owned by an Indian company called the HTMT.
No. Tax collection is now been outsourced, yeah.
Okay, well, dig this. Then
foreigners beat us up. Yeah, that's how it works. Go ahead.
The actual client of the IRS website help desk is Accenture, and they're based out of Hamilton, Bermuda.
Yep, all offshore corporations, all laughing, all sucking us dry. Illegal aliens get free health care, we don't. They're just everything's above the law but us, the dumb moron cattle.
Exactly.
Just only us. We're the suckers of the world. The spoiled, rotten people that think we know it all and we don't know jack crap.
Right on.
It's time. I hear you and I appreciate your call. Banjo Wizard in Texas. You're on the air.
Alex, man, it's an honor.
It's an honor to talk to you.
Hey, man, I just wanted to say, I was reading the news yesterday. Sometimes I check the internet just to see what the mainstream media is pushing. And I read this article. I was shocked to read it. It says, government acknowledges accidents in virus lab. The only U.S. facility allowed to research the highly contagious foot and mouth disease experienced several accidents with the feared virus the Bush administration acknowledged Friday. The reason this is important is because...
They're only acknowledging that because they plan to have a bioweapon release and claim it was an accident. Or they'll probably blame it on some bearded cave troll.
They're going to move this to U.S. mainland near livestock herds. And it doesn't pose a threat to us, but, I mean, it could wipe out...
You're talking about the problems they had down in Galveston?
No, actually, I think this is from Long Island, New York.
Well, they had, quote, problems in Galveston, too.
Huh. I mean, this is just a blatant... Here, I mean,
they got gallons of every type of liquid death you can imagine. They're a bunch of occultists. All they like doing is murdering. They love slaughtering people, and we'll probably all be flopping around in dead piles soon enough while they celebrate and toast champagne. And scumbag yuppies that survive will still love it. I appreciate your call. Just how it works. Scum, filth everywhere. 50 million abortions, degenerate, self-absorbed trash everywhere. Scumbag filth everywhere running around. I don't mean to get negative. I shouldn't do 4 hours some days. I'm just pissed off. This Bobbitt son of a bitch makes me mad. All right, I got to settle down. I'm out of time, ladies and gentlemen. We'll re-meet the transmission in progress with Raymond Teague talking about the NASA technologies, some of the suppressed stuff. Very interesting discussion with Raymond. And then we had Andres Von Bulow on for an hour and 30 minutes. He'll be on with us, too. I'm out of time, ladies and gentlemen. Back live tomorrow. More big guests as well throughout the week, and I shouldn't blow up. It's time to get pissed. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and realize our government isn't our government. It's a bunch of degenerate scum attacking our government and destroying it. That's it. Bye-bye, everybody. I'm pouring down with sweat. I got so mad. It's not even hot in here. That's real, folks. I'm pissed, man. I hate these people. These are enemies of America. If you're real patriots, you should learn who they are, spread the word that they're traitorous scum. God bless you all, and God bless the United States. Death to the New World Order. Coming for you, trash.
It would cause the film to be degraded.